I get it, you've scrolled through a dozen listings, each promising the perfect eye-friendly monitor, only to end up with a glossy LCD that burns your eyes after an hour of reading or coding. The frustration is real. The product looks sleek on the photo, but the experience is a letdown the moment you plug it in. That's why I'm taking a close look at the Bigme B251 Epaper color monitor, a 25.3-inch display that claims to bring the paper-like feel of an e-reader to a full-size monitor. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the idea behind a color ink screen is simple. You want the low power, low glare benefits of an e-reader, but with a larger canvas and a bit of color for charts, photos, or just a more pleasant desktop. The B251 tries to deliver that by pairing a 25.3-inch ink panel with a customizable front light and 4 refresh modes that supposedly eliminate ghosting and lag. In practice, the monitor feels noticeably different from any LCD or OLED you've used before, and that difference is the core of the review. If you're the type of person who spends 8 or more hours a day staring at screenwriters, programmers, data analysts, or anyone who reads long PDFs, the B251's biggest draw is the reduction in eye strain. The front light is adjustable across a wide temperature range, so you can dial it down for a dim office or crank it up for a bright kitchen counter without the harsh blue spikes that typical LED backlights emit. I tested it next to a standard 27-inch IPS panel, and after a couple of hours the IPS screen left my eyes feeling gritty, while the ink stayed comfortable, almost like reading a paperback in daylight. The refresh technology is where the monitor steps away from the usual ink complaints. Bigme markets its X-Rapid engine and 4 refresh modes, a slow, ghost-free mode for static documents, a medium speed for occasional UI updates, a fast mode that handles scrolling through web pages, and a high-speed setting that tries to mimic a regular monitor for short bursts. In daily use, the slow mode works great for PDFs or coding windows that don't need to update more than once per minute. The medium mode is surprisingly snappy when I'm scrolling through a long spreadsheet. There's a faint lag, but it's not enough to break flow. The fast and high-speed modes are useful when you need to glance at a chat window or watch a short video clip, though you'll notice a brief ghosting artifact after each frame. It's not a perfect replacement for a gaming monitor, but for most productivity tasks the trade-off feels acceptable. Connectivity is another practical angle. The B251 comes with HDMI, DisplayPort, USB-C with power delivery, and a couple of USB-A ports. I plugged it into a laptop via USB-C, which also powered the monitor, keeping my desk tidy with a single cable. The DP input let me connect a desktop workstation without any fuss. The USB-A ports are handy for attaching a mouse or a small USB drive, though you won't get the data transfer speeds you'd expect from a USB 3.0 hub. The monitor's firmware includes an intelligent voice control system that lets you toggle front light levels or switch refresh modes with simple commands. In a quiet office, saying increase front light works reliably. In a noisier environment you might need to press a button, but the option is there if you like a hands-free setup. Now, who should actually buy this thing? If you're a professional who reads or writes a lot, think authors, editors, researchers, or students working on dissertations, the B251 can become a daily comfort tool. It also shines for anyone who needs a secondary display for reference material. A coder can have documentation on the ink screen while coding on a primary monitor, and the reduced glare helps keep focus longer. Graphic designers or video editors will find the color gamut limited. The display can show basic charts and screenshots, but it won't replace a calibrated sRGB or Adobe RGB monitor for color-critical work. If you're a gamer, streamer, or someone who expects buttery smooth video playback, this isn't the right choice. The refresh rates, even in the fastest mode, still lag behind conventional panels. There are hidden trade-offs worth mentioning. The biggest is the lack of true motion handling. Even the fastest refresh mode can't match 60 Hz fluidity, so scrolling through long web pages feels a touch stuttery, especially on sites heavy with dynamic content. The color depth is modest. You'll see muted tones rather than vivid hues, which is fine for reading charts but not for photo editing. Battery consumption is impressively low if you run it from a USB-C power bank. It lasts well over a day at moderate brightness, but you still need a wall outlet for continuous use. Finally, the price point sits higher than a typical 24-inch IPS monitor, so the value proposition hinges on how much you value eye comfort versus raw performance. Practical strengths, summed up, are the adjustable front light, the low glare surface, and the flexible connectivity that lets you power the